Thought does not reach outward and rearrange atoms, bend space-time, or issue commands to reality the way myths or metaphors sometimes suggest. Instead, thought operates inward, shaping how raw sensory data is selected, organized, and transformed into experience. The universe presents an overwhelming flood of information at every moment. Electromagnetic waves across countless frequencies, pressure changes in the air, chemical signals, gravitational effects, and internal bodily states. The brain cannot process all of this, it never tries to. Thought emerges as a filtering mechanism, narrowing infinity into something survivable. What we call reality is therefore not the totality of what exists, but the outcome of what the mind allows through. Thought is not a supernatural force, but a biological strategy, evolved to reduce complexity into meaning, turning a vast, indifferent universe into something navigable. Perception feels immediate and direct, yet neuroscience shows it is anything but. The brain does not passively record the world, it actively constructs it. Signals from the senses arrive fragmented, delayed, and incomplete. Vision alone is stitched together from rapid eye movements, blind spots, and predictive guesses that fill in missing detail. Sound is reconstructed from vibrations that must be interpreted as language, threat, or background noise. Touch, temperature, balance, and pain are translated through layers of neural processing before they become experience. Thought plays a central role in deciding what these signals mean. Two people can receive nearly identical sensory input and experience entirely different realities because thought selects relevance. This selection is not optional. Without it, perception would collapse into incoherent noise. This filtering process explains why thought feels so intimately tied to reality without actually controlling it. The mind does not alter the external universe, but it determines which aspects of that universe become salient, memorable, and actionable. Attention acts as a spotlight, and thought directs where that spotlight points. What falls outside of attention might as well not exist from a lived perspective. Entire features of the environment can go unnoticed, not because they are absent, but because they are deemed irrelevant. This is not a flaw in cognition, it is its core function. Thought continuously asks a quiet question: what matters now? The answer to that question shapes the world we experience far more than the raw structure of reality itself. The idea that two people never experience the same universe is not philosophical exaggeration but neurological fact. Individual histories, emotional states, cultural conditioning, and biological differences all influence how thought filters perception. Memory plays a particularly strong role, quietly guiding interpretation before awareness catches up. A familiar environment feels stable, not because it is unchanged, but because thought has learned how to compress it into expectation. Novelty, by contrast, overwhelms the filter, forcing attention to widen and effort to increase. What feels like an objective difference between safe and uncertain spaces is often a difference in how much predictive work the brain must do. Thought reduces uncertainty by shaping experience in advance. This predictive nature of thought reveals why reality feels continuous and coherent, even though sensory input is intermittent and incomplete. The brain is not waiting to see what happens, it is constantly guessing. Thought generates models of the world and checks them against incoming data, adjusting only when prediction fails. Most of the time, the predictions are good enough, and awareness flows smoothly. When they fail, reality feels jarring or surprising. This does not mean thought creates reality, but it does mean thought creates the framework through which reality is encountered. The world we experience is the best current guess the brain can make, updated moment by moment. Importantly, this filtering does not imply that reality is subjective in the sense of being arbitrary or imagined. There is a world that exists independently of thought, governed by physical laws and causal structure. Thought cannot wish gravity away or imagine fire into harmlessness. The filter operates within constraints, but within those constraints there is immense flexibility. Color, meaning, danger, beauty, and significance are not properties of objects themselves. They are interpretations layered on top of physical stimuli. A wavelength of light has no color until a nervous system interprets it. A sound wave has no meaning until a brain recognizes it as speech, music, or threat. Thought is the translator between indifferent processes and lived experience. This distinction helps dissolve the confusion around claims that thought shapes reality. When understood scientifically, the claim is neither mystical nor trivial. Thought shapes the experienced universe, not the underlying one. It determines what is foreground and what is background, what is remembered and what is forgotten, what is acted upon and what is ignored. Over time, these choices accumulate into life paths, environments, and social structures that feel external but arise from countless filtered decisions. The universe does not bend to thought, but the trajectory of a life certainly does. The shaping happens indirectly, through perception, interpretation, and action. Even time itself is filtered through thought. The brain does not perceive time as a smooth flow, but reconstructs it from events, changes, and memory. When attention is absorbed, time seems to compress. When uncertainty or discomfort dominates, time stretches. The physical passage of seconds remains constant, but the experience duration changes dramatically. Thought modulates this experience by prioritizing certain signals over others. This is why memory-rich moments feel longer in retrospect, and routine periods vanish into blur. Time, as lived, is shaped less by clocks and more by cognitive filtering. The filtering role of thought also explains why certainty feels comforting and ambiguity feels unsettling. The brain prefers stable models because they reduce cognitive load. When thought can quickly categorize a situation, perception becomes efficient. Ambiguity forces the filter to remain open, increasing effort and anxiety. This is why beliefs, even inaccurate ones, can feel stabilizing. They simplify interpretation. However, they also narrow perception, excluding information that contradicts them. Thought shapes reality, not only by what it includes, but by what it excludes. Entire possibilities can remain invisible because the filter has already decided they are irrelevant. Crucially, this filtering is not under conscious control most of the time. Thought arises from processes operating beneath awareness, shaped by evolution to prioritize survival rather than truth. The brain does not aim to show reality as it is. It aims to show reality as it needs to be for action. This means that the experienced universe is optimized for usefulness, not accuracy. Depth perception, object boundaries, even the sense of a stable self are constructions that simplify interaction. They work well enough to navigate the world, even if they distort it. Thought refines these constructions, reinforcing what works and discarding what doesn't. Understanding thought as a filter rather than a force reframes human influence on reality in a grounded way. We are not creators of the cosmos, but interpreters within it. Our power lies not in altering the fundamental structure of existence, but in shaping how existence is encountered, understood, and responded to. This shaping is subtle, cumulative, and profound. The universe we live in is not raw reality, but reality as filtered through nervous systems, cultures, languages, and expectations. Thought does not make the universe obey us. It makes the universe intelligible enough for us to live within it. Seen this way, the idea that thought shapes our observable universe is not an exaggeration but an understatement. Observation itself is already shaped before it begins. What we notice, what we ignore, and what we remember form the contours of experience. The universe does not change when thought changes, but the world we inhabit does. That world is not an illusion, it is an interface. And thought is the operating system quietly determining what that interface shows moment by moment, without ever needing to be magical to be powerful. Observation is often imagined as a passive act, as if awareness simply opens its eyes and receives whatever reality offers. In truth, observation is an active process that reshapes experience at every level. Attention does not merely notice what is already clear. It selects, amplifies, and stabilizes certain aspects of the world while allowing others to dissolve into background noise. At any given moment, the environment contains vastly more information than the brain can process. Observation therefore functions as a narrowing mechanism, carving a workable reality out of excess possibility. What becomes real to us is not everything that exists, but everything that survives this selection process. The world we experience is not the total world, but the attended world, structured by where awareness lingers and where it does not. Attention acts like a sculptor rather than a mirror. By dwelling on certain signals, it reinforces them, increasing their clarity, emotional weight, and memorability. By ignoring others, it allows them to fade as if they never occurred. This is why two people can share the same space and walk away with entirely different experiences. One notices tension, another beauty. One detects threat, another calm. The difference is not the external situation, but the internal allocation of attention. Over time, repeated attention shapes patterns of perception that feel objective but are deeply personal. Observation does not create objects out of nothing, but it determines which objects become meaningful enough to register as real in lived experience. Unobserved information occupies a strange status in human reality. Physically, it exists. Experientially, it does not. From the perspective of the mind, something unnoticed might as well not exist at all. This is not philosophical abstraction, but a practical fact of cognition. Entire events can occur without leaving any trace in memory if attention never touched them. Streets are walked, conversations overheard, sensations felt briefly and then erased, leaving no subjective footprint. The brain treats unattended information as irrelevant, and irrelevance is indistinguishable from absence at the level of experience. Reality as lived is therefore a subset of reality as it exists. This selective disappearance explains why awareness feels like presence. To be aware of something is to grant it existence within the mental world. Once attention lands, the object gains color, weight, and duration. Before that moment, it was effectively invisible. This does not mean awareness creates the object, but it does mean awareness creates the object's reality for the observer. Meaning arises at the moment of observation, not before. A sound wave becomes music only when heard. A pattern becomes a face only when recognized. Without observation, the world remains a vast field of uninterpreted signals, physically active but experientially empty. Measurement is often treated as a technical act confined to laboratories, but at a cognitive level, measurement is happening constantly. Every moment of perception involves categorization, comparison, and evaluation. The brain measures intensity, distance, relevance, and emotional value without conscious instruction. These measurements shape what becomes foreground and what recedes. Importantly, measurement is not neutral. It reflects priorities built into the nervous system by evolution and personal history. Threat is measured quickly and aggressively. Opportunity is measured selectively. Neutral data is often ignored entirely. Through this continuous measuring, observation becomes a filter that assigns significance, transforming raw input into structured experience. The role of the observer in shaping reality is often exaggerated into mystical claims or misunderstood through oversimplified interpretations of physics. The truth is quieter and more grounded. Observation does not collapse the universe into existence, nor does consciousness dictate physical outcomes at will. Instead, observation shapes the interface between mind and world. It determines which aspects of reality are integrated into awareness and which remain external. The observer does not command reality, but participates in it by selecting how it is encountered. This participation is unavoidable. There is no perspective from nowhere, no perception without selection. Awareness itself is constrained by biology. The senses sample only narrow bands of the physical world. Vision ignores most electromagnetic radiation. Hearing ignores vast ranges of vibration. Touch detects only certain pressures and temperatures. Observation begins already filtered by sensory limits before attention even plays its role. What awareness then does is further narrow this already reduced input into something coherent. The observer therefore lives inside a double filter, first imposed by sensory apparatus, then refined by attention and thought. The universe that emerges from this process feels complete, but it is always partial, a thin slice of a much richer reality. Meaning arises precisely at the intersection of observation and interpretation. Without observation, there is no meaning. Without interpretation, there is no coherence. The brain constantly links observed information to memory, expectation, and emotion, constructing narratives that stabilize experience. These narratives feel like properties of the world, but they are properties of observation layered onto the world. A neutral expression becomes hostile or friendly, depending on the observer's interpretive frame. A sound becomes alarming or ignorable based on context. Observation does not just register reality, it organizes it into significance.